Up until a certain age, it's normal to feel powerless about your situation. When I think about feelings of helplessness or dependency, I'm usually reminded of the experience that young children have that I had when I was younger, of not being able to do what you wanted and often not understanding the reasons behind the things that you were doing, or things that were imposed on you that seemed really unfair and really illogical, like bedtime, although I didn't have the strictest parents. But the thing about powerlessness is, I think for a lot of people, it doesn't stop when we reach a certain age and we become independent of our parents. We might go to college or have independent means through working, having our own place to live. For some of us is a sign of independence, although let's face it, that's changed since the economic crisis of 2008. A lot more people in their 20s, 30s, 40s living with their parents, unable to get onto the property ladder. In a lot of places, house prices have soared to 10 times the average income. I'm thinking of London in particular. And so this sort of dependency just continues. I think when I go back to my familial home, a lot of my old habits from when I was a teenager or when I was a child resurface in a big way, and I relapse into mood swings and, childish behavior, obstinance that I thought I'd completely rid myself of through, my grown-up experiences, but they lie dormant, and I think our environment awakens them, and I think our presence in our family's home and parents, when your children return home, this will be familiar to you. You do still feel protective in the same ways that you did when your children first lived with you. And so for a lot of us, having finished college or university and not yet being able to afford to live independently, we do go back to living with our parents, and so these old behaviors, these old habits of our relationship, they will resurface in some way or another, and it's usually out of caring, out of concern, but it can have negative results. It can really make both parties regress, and it takes a lot of honest and open communication to get beyond those patterns, and to get beyond the defenses that we have against change, against criticism of the way we are behaving. You have to be incredibly careful. But I think if you're successful in achieving independence or in negotiating the autonomy that you require in whatever situation you find yourself in, just by being honest and open, hopefully you can still feel less powerless. I think we're very fond of restrictions, even though we claim that we want complete freedom. I think a lot of us would feel completely footloose and lost in a world where we did enjoy complete freedom. I don't think enjoy is probably the right word. And so it's interesting. I think sometimes we even seek out a sense of powerlessness. We want to be locked into something, and so that we can identify with the struggle we have, within those fixed parameters. That's something I haven't given enough thought really to be able to convey in words very well. But I think powerlessness, it's usually conceived of as something negative. But I think sometimes we seek out situations where we're not responsible. We can say, oh, it wasn't my fault if something goes wrong because I was powerless to change the course of events, and this has been used as an excuse by many of us at various points. It's good to recognize when you do have a choice and to not crouch behind your parents, your friends, your partner, your husband, your wife, and say, oh, it wasn't my idea, or it wasn't my fault. I think that will bring us one step closer to realizing the power that we do have, and hopefully using that for something good.